Hello, writers and readers. I'm freelance fiction editor Miranda Darrow, here with my weekly video about writing, editing, and the writing life. This month, we're talking about using tropes in your writing. For my list of book recommendations this month, we're following the theme of tropes with my list of book recommendations for one of my favorite romance tropes. It's Marriage of Convenience. I've loved Marriage of Convenience ever since I first watched the movie Green Card back in the 1990s, and again when I saw The Proposal with almost the exact same premise a decade later. Here's my list of 11 must-read marriage of convenience romances for authors and readers alike. If you're a romance writer, or just a reader who adores the trope where someone says, I do, but didn't really mean it until later, here are 11 brilliant books that use marriage of convenience in wildly different, emotionally rich ways. I picked a variety so you can see how flexible and trope-worthy this setup really is. Here are my picks, plus why the couple agreed to marry, and what makes each one uniquely fun, or angsty, or swoony. First up, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This one had a recent re-release, but I loved it from the first edition. Football star Aiden falls for his personal assistant Vanessa, whom he marries for a green card, but she's oblivious, and they're both too repressed to say how they really feel about each other forever. Why they marry. Aiden Graves is a Canadian football star, aka the Wall of Winnipeg, and he needs to stay in the United States, so he proposes a green card marriage with his personal assistant Vanessa. To me, this one was a little not plausible because professional sports teams do have people from other countries, like think about any hockey team, and they are getting visas for those folks. But let's just roll with it. What makes it special? It's a slow burn, friends turn something more story. Vanessa is practical, real, and more than just eye candy. Aiden is brooding, but dependable, and you feel every step as they build trust. This one is unique because Mariana Zapata usually writes from single POV in her novels. In this case, it's Van, short for Vanessa. We don't get the usual he said, she said back and forth to POV, so readers are left in the dark about how Aiden really feels about Van. And then we get some amazing irony as the readers can see the clues that Aiden really likes Van, long before Van actually figures it out. I love this aspect of the book. I know some people don't like single POV in their contemporary romances, but I really like this one. Number 2 on our list, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is a recent title. It's very buzzy, it's great fun, and it's a subgenre departure for the author who had, before this, a lot of success with contemporary romance, but this one is fantasy romance. Why they marry. Misery Lark, a vampire, agrees to a politically arranged marriage with Lo Morland, a werewolf alpha, to cement a peace treaty between their species. So it's an example of alter diplomacy, marrying for political reasons. What makes it special? Paranormal romance meets STEM, because Misery is a hacker, and the book mixes political intrigue with the vampire council and werepacks with slow-burning enemies to lovers tension. Number 3, The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Why they marry. Anna Green married Liam Weston in college to get access to subsidized student housing. But years later, they realized that they had never actually legally divorced. And Wes now has a clause in his inheritance that he can only access his $100 million if he stays married for 5 years. So this was originally a marriage of convenience combined with 5 years of not doing anything about it. And then there's a second convenient reason to be married, and that's the inheritance. This is more convenience than a quick trip station, but it's fun, so just go with it. It's a bit of a wild ride. What makes it special? This one has big family drama, a tropical setting, and that classic Christina Lauren humor. It's a reunion, a fake romance, a second chance trip, all rolled into one. Next up, Isn't It Bromantic by Lyssa K. Adams. Why They Marry. This is the 4th installment in the Lyssa K. Adams Bromance Book Club series. This series focuses on a group of alpha men who banded together to read romance novels to figure out what women want and discovered new depths in their relationship with the women in their lives and with each other in their male friendships. This book is the long-awaited star turn for hockey player Vlad, aka the Russian, who marries his childhood friend Elena to help her escape dangers stemming from her past. But after 4 years, he realizes he's still in love with her, and he's tired of the one-sided convenience. It's wearing him down. What makes it special? This one brings the Romance Book Club, meddling neighbors, and a surprise suspense element. It's tender, it's funny, and it shows how even a safe marriage of convenience can hide real feelings. Number 5, Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Why They Marry. Yes, Outlander technically has a marriage of convenience in the very first book. I just rewatched the first season of Outlander in order to prep for watching Blood of My Blood, and I got to see their meeting and marriage again for the first time in years. Claire marries Jamie in 18th century Scotland. She marries him out of necessity. She's a stranger in a dangerous land, and the marriage gives her protection and legitimacy. I know that this series is a billion pages long, but in the very first book, Jamie and Claire married pretty early on, and they hadn't even dated or courted when they tied the knot and were expected to consummate their marriage to show proof that it was legit. Yes, this featured a male virgin's first time and a great use of the teach me to love trope, but it starts as a marriage of convenience and then it becomes a love match pretty quickly. But what about her pesky husband living 200 years in the future? Tension. Okay, what makes it special? Time travel, historical immersion. Their marriage becomes one of the most iconic, deeply passionate relationships in romance novel history. Also, the stakes are very high. There's war, there's politics, there's life and death. All right, next up, number 6, Marriage and Masti by Nishi Sharma. Why they marry. In this witty rom-com, the protagonists agree to a convenient marriage to satisfy cultural and family expectations while keeping it just business, or so they think. What makes it special? There's cultural richness, humor, and the push-pull of arranged, but not really arranged, plus real emotional stakes around tradition, identity, and modern love. Here's a fun one, In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. Why they marry. When Shay Zacconi's stepmother died, she left Shay a tulip farm under 2 conditions. First, Shay has to move home to the small town of Friendship, Rhode Island. Sure thing. The second, and more problematic, since her fiancé had just called off their wedding, Shay must be married within 1 year. So she needs a groom, or she'll lose the farm. No, not the farm. What the heck, Granny? But her love interest, or at first just a farm interest, is Noah Barden, who loved Shay Zacconi back in high school. Not that he ever told her. He was too shy, too awkward, too painfully uncool to ask out the beautiful popular girl. A lifetime later, Noah is a single dad to his niece, and he has his hands full running his family business. And that old crush is the farthest thing from his mind, until Shay returns to their hometown looking for a husband, on paper anyway. What makes this one special? This one leans into screwball romance side of things. Banter, misunderstandings, and oops, I married somebody, now what energy. Next up, number 8, Ride With Me by Simone Soltane. Why they married. This one features an accidental Vegas wedding between a Formula One racer and a social media influencer who was just left at the altar and had to show up alone and embarrassed in a family wedding in Vegas. One thing leads to the altar, and the two wake up married. This gives all of the I don't even know his last name vibes. The two laugh it off and then decide there could be benefits to them both to keep that knot tied at least a little while longer. What makes it special? Think modern romance, social media likes, and a marriage that starts out as a pact, but gets real in unpredictable ways. Not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Number 9, The Broposal by Sarina Reyes. Why they marry? The hero proposes a broposal, a fake marriage, to help his friend avoid immigration services troubles. The marriage is more of a setup, but of course, feelings complicate things fast. Alejandro, Han, and Kenny are friends first, and the marriage is just a formality to solve a legal problem. But they spend time together as Kenny explores his sexual identity, and then Han faces what it means to live undocumented in an increasingly hostile environment. What makes it special? It's full of heart, humor, and found family. This proposal is a clever twist on marriage of convenience, and the emotional payoff is lovely. Number 10, The Fiancée Farce by A. Bellafleur. Why they marry. Tansy Adams' greatest love is her family's bookstore, passed down from her late father. But when it comes to actual romance, Tansy can't get past the first chapter. Tired of her stepfamily's questions about her love life, Tansy invents a relationship with a romance novel cover model. This is hilarious. Gemma, inspired by the stunning cover model on a best-selling book. So she sees the book. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm having a relationship with Gemma, this model. They'll never actually meet, so what's the harm in this little fib? Yet when real-life Gemma crosses Tansy's path, her white lie nearly implodes. Gemma Van Dalen is the wild child and outcast of her wealthy family and is now the latest heir to the Van Dalen Publishing Company. But the title comes with one tiny condition. She must be married in order to inherit. When Gemma discovers a beautiful stranger has been pretending to date her for months, she decides to take the charade one step further and announce their engagement. Ha, hilarious. What makes this special? There's real tension between wealth and intimacy, plus high-stakes financial maneuvering. The trope of merging the personal and the professional makes for delicious conflict. And the final one, number 11, Shenanigans by Sarina Bowen. I love this author's sports romances, and this is one of her Brooklyn Bruisers hockey romance series, featuring a professional hockey star and a women's hockey all-star player who meet and quickly marry in Vegas. Sensing a theme here? Why they marry? Well, he's a cinnamon roll and he agrees to stay married to help her financially despite his overbearing and overprivileged family's hesitations and meddling. What makes it special? Sarina Bowen brings her signature warmth, emotional resonance, and witty dialogue. There's tension, humor, and heart as the characters move from this is just practical to maybe I can't imagine life any other way, which I love about that. It's just like, what? This is going to have to end? No. There's a moment in each one of these they're just like, I can't stop this. What these books teach the authors about tropes. If you're a writer thinking about using the marriage of convenience in your own works, here's what makes these novels so instructive in how you can borrow from their tricks. Make the why believable. Whether it's a green card, an inheritance, a political alliance, your characters need real stakes. A superficial reason makes the marriage feel hollow. Use conflict and emotional layers. The convenience sets up a bargain, but real love and real pain comes when that bargain starts to feel more than a contract. It starts to feel real. Don't forget the setting. Paranormal worlds like Bride, high society drama like Paradise Problem, the fishbowl of living in a small town like In a Jam, and the scrutiny of pro sports team like Wall of Winnipeg and Shenanigans all change how the trope play out. Lean into voice. Many of these stories are so strong because of how the characters talk, sardonic, romantic, funny, guarded. That voice anchors the emotional stakes. And allow growth. The best marriage of convenience stories let the characters grow from this will help me survive to this relationship might be my home. Okay, that's our video for the week. I'm freelance fiction editor Miranda Darrow, reminding you to watch this YouTube channel for my new videos every week about writing, editing, and the writing life. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. This is Miranda Darrow wishing you happy writing.